Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Snug Wrestling Podcast. My name is Edgar. I am the host, and the Snug Crew is here. Mr. Blood and Tommy. Toxic is out tonight. He's got some family duties to take care of, and we're going to be going over Monday Night Raw. This is the fallout of last weekend's Saturday night's main event. We're entering a new era again for like the fifth time this year that Triple H has said it's a new era, but this time it really does feel like a new era because this is post John Cena retirement. This is we're heading into the Royal Rumble season, and we found out who the masked man is and a lot of new stuff. It was a very eventful Monday Night Raw. I think we saw a lot of interesting things on this episode of Monday Night Raw, and we're going to be covering all of it. What's going on, you guys? How y'all feeling today?
Yeah, man. We're 2 days removed from Cena retiring. It feels weird to watch Raw knowing that's it. There's no more dates left, no more countdown, no more waiting for the next big storyline to drop for him or match date. It's an odd feeling being on this side of his career because I became a fan just like half a year before he originally debuted in 2002. So I remember life before John Cena, and now I've got to have life without John Cena, at least in the wrestling sphere. So it is really weird. I will say, and we will get into the masked man at the end of the show for the main event, so I will not say anything here because I want to save all that energy for that, so I won't mention the masked man's identity just yet. But this show felt like it kind of flew by. Like, when Logan Paul and Ray came out, for some reason, I didn't get like a main event feel for some reason yet. And I look at the time and it's like 9:53. And I'm like, damn, we're already here. Holy shit. Like it just kind of flew by for me. I feel like this whole show was really good. Everything on the show for nearly the most part was important and had a purpose for being here. So other than that, great to be a wrestling fan. Weird to be a John Cena fan waking up today and watching Raw today. But other than that, doing great.
Yeah, show itself was great. We'll get into that first segment here in a bit because, oh my God, especially the backstage stuff that happened after that. So we will absolutely be getting into that. And honestly, show itself, pretty decent. I liked it. We'll get into that masked man thing as well. But boy, am I excited for that one.
Yeah, and even though John Cena has retired, this isn't going to be the last time that the WWE talks about John Cena or us. We're going to still talk about John Cena. I would like to talk about him more, probably in our one-on-one this Thursday, Mr. Blood. I have, some other topics John Cena related that I still want to cover. One of those topics being that video that you made after Saturday night's main event that's been getting a lot of attention on our social medias, man. You really know how to piss people off, huh?
As far as I'm concerned, I'm glad I pissed them off because that's how I felt at the end of his show when fans, though you are allowed to feel how you feel, you're allowed to voice how you feel. John Cena will be the first person to tell you, you are allowed to emote and react. That is what this business is all about. And he would be right in saying that. However, there is a time and a fucking place for those types of reactions. And during John Cena's moment wasn't one of them. I don't give a fuck how pissed off you are at Triple H. It wasn't about him. And there's a time and a place to elicit that response. The first thing John Cena did not deserve to hear when he lost on Saturday was bullshit, bullshit, you fucked up, you fucked up. The first thing he should have heard was crying and thank you, Cena. Should have been the first fucking thing he heard when he sat up off the mat and started untying his shoes. He had earned that. To watch John Cena sit there with praying hands and start like pleading with you and doing this to get you to, hey, it's okay. You know, I gave everything I had. I gave all I had, trying to get you to understand Why is this man, after wrestling a 27-minute match, after a 23-long-year career in a 1-year retirement tour, exhausted, having to plead with you to give him, the moment? So as far as I'm concerned, you're 100% allowed to feel how you feel. Absolutely. But there's a time and a place for taking the attention off of someone and putting it on someone else. And that wasn't the time to take it off of Cena and put it on Triple H. It just wasn't. So I'm glad I pissed you off, and kindly go fuck yourselves.
Yeah. And like at the end of the day, like, first of all, okay, we all knew John Cena wasn't going to win. It's a tradition in wrestling for the guy that's retiring to go out losing. We all knew John Cena was going to lose. I mean, first of all, like, why is everyone so shocked by that? Okay. The other thing too, I've read all the comments, I've seen all the reactions that we've gotten on our socials, and everyone has a different reason that they made up in their head for why they were booing Triple H and why they put all the attention and anger towards Triple H instead of focusing on the moment for John Cena. I heard it was because of politics. I read that it was because, oh, well, Triple H has never been a good booker. And then I've heard, oh, well, just so many different reasons. Like, no one really knows why they were booing Triple H except for whatever reasons that they had personally towards Triple H, whatever the case may be. And I completely just lost my train of thought. I'm gonna have to edit this out.
Well, look. As far as it goes, you hit the nail on the head here. Everybody has their own idea as to why they think they're right. And I'm going to put this the way that professional wrestling TikToker Wheezy put it, because she's on the same side I am, where right after he lost, she was on a live stream for an hour fighting and arguing fans, saying, it wasn't your call. You don't know jack shit. So stop acting like you are entitled to your opinion until someone tells you to shut the fuck up and then presents you with facts, is exactly what she said. And that's exactly what I said. And the fact is, you are allowed to feel how you feel, but there's a time and a place. And just because you think John Cena should have gone out this way, this was the only way it should have been right. Triple H should have booked it this way. This was the right call to make. It was John's call. And Triple H agreed, and instead of hijacking that booking from John, he went along with John's booking, John's fucking finish. He said that much in the post-media scrum, okay? And John Cena literally did the right thing. Wrestling continues after his fucking career. So he focused on building another star. He wanted to turn, along with Triple H, Gunther into a mega monster fucking heel because they have plans to have him retire Brock Lesnar in Minnesota at SummerSlam next year. That is the report. So they are building him up for a feud with Brock, and he needs to measure up in the accolades department. Brock beat the streak. Now Gunther has retired freaking Goldberg, and he made John Cena submit. Also, he's got a 666-day Intercontinental record-breaking title reign and 2 world championships under his belt. They are padding his resume to build his legitimacy as a real person who could put Brock down for the 1, 2, 3. That was what that piece of business was on Saturday. John understood that assignment, and he carried out that assignment with the future of the business in mind, and by putting a rocket on Gunther's back as well in his mind. He did the right thing. If you're salty about it, be salty, but don't call yourself a smart fan if you don't understand business psychology when it comes to professional fucking wrestling.
Yeah, and I just remember the point that I was trying to make, that from what I gather from what everyone was saying is that John Cena should have passed out instead of tapped out, because John Cena never gives up, and that's bullshit. And, John Cena has always told all those Make-A-Wish kids not to give up, but he gave up. John Cena's a hypocrite. But, like, first of all, how many people have passed out to Gunther's chokehold? A lot.
2.
Okay. Why do we want to see that again for John Cena to do it? We don't want to see that again. And John Cena tapping out, it just goes into the story that they were trying to tell in this match, which means we have storytelling here and it makes sense. And Gunther made Cena do the one thing that Cena said he would never do, which is to give up. It's just good shit, man. And like, I get people being upset that, they wanted to see Cena go out, I guess looking strong or looking good, but it's not about Cena anymore on his way out. It's about the guy
future.
that's staying. Yes, which is Gunther.
And I'm gonna double down on this too, because I had also made this point before, and then I heard Bully Ray make the point later. There is a difference between tapping out and giving up. John Cena didn't give up. He didn't give up. He actually fought as hard as fuck. He got his neck worked on for the entire match. He did not give up. He tapped out. Giving up means, when you give up, that means you quit when you still might have a chance. You give up because you just don't fucking think it's worth fighting anymore. That's not what John did. John resided in the fact that after all he did to fight off Gunther, he had nothing left in the tank. So he tapped to basically say, Gunther, you were the better man. He tapped for Gunther, and he tapped for the fans to say, this is the future of the business, this guy right here. You don't understand how the business psychology of wrestling works. And because of that, you're only leaning on your emotion and what you see without thinking of why you're seeing it in the first place. There was a purpose to that tap. And it wasn't so John could say, I gave up, even though I never gave up, even though he's tapped 4 times in the past. Twice to fucking Kurt, once to Chris Jericho, and once to Benoit. Okay? Just because the guy hasn't tapped out in 20 years doesn't mean he's never tapped out before. Okay? So when it comes down to it, guys, I feel bad for the people who are so butthurt that they didn't get to have that moment at the end of his match the way that I did, that you did, that Tommy did, that Toxic did, where we got to sit there and revel in this man's career and have that moment as fans and get that closure because we were smart enough to understand the purpose of that finish. Everyone else, you are never going to have closure on John Cena's final match because you aren't thinking with the business mentality that John was thinking when he made that decision. And that's on you.
So quick shout out to Circle of Debate, says, what's good, Familia, happy Monday. And also Waka 69520 says, quitting is tapping. But yeah. Anyway, this isn't the end that, like we said, that we were going to hear from John Cena after Saturday night's main event, because it carried over on Monday Night Raw. The opening of Monday Night Raw was a follow-up to the John Cena match, which was Gunther, the most hated man on the planet now, officially, after retiring John Cena, opened up Monday Night Raw, and he comes out just basking in all of his glory and just taking in all the heat and all the boos. Gunther has major heat now with everyone in that fucking arena. He was getting booed. They couldn't even let him talk because they were just booing over Gunther trying to speak. And Gunther just went out there just to rub it in people's faces. You guys thought, okay, you guys were mad at me for what I did to John Cena at Saturday night's main event. Well, guess what? I made John Cena tap out like a little bitch. How about that? And goddamn, man, such good shit, man. Gunther has been put over in a major way as a heel. He's got all the heat now. And I absolutely loved this. I thought this was fucking great.
Yeah, I don't understand how you can see that reaction Gunther got and then still think back to the end of Saturday and go, that was a dumb finish. It didn't even do anything. It didn't work. It didn't matter. Gunther didn't even need it. Look at the reaction he got. Oh, bro, he wasn't getting booed like that before. He wasn't getting booed to the point where he couldn't talk on the mic like Dominic Mysterio used to not be able to. No. That finish worked because this man has nuclear fucking heat. That is exactly what the point of that finish on Saturday night was for. Because now Gunther, who was already a top guy, dude is solidified, bona fide monster heel of this era and generation of WWE. Hands down. You cannot look for a more hated fucking man in mainstream professional wrestling than right goddamn now, in the position that he's in. So when I heard them just fucking absolutely lose their shit, I was like, oh yeah, this worked. So I loved the promo. It was barely a promo. It was a mic drop, a walk away, and the man said, you know what? I'm going to go back for seconds. I'm still hungry. Went back in, did it again, left the ring, goes, you know what? Thirds. I'm feeling greedy tonight. Goes back in one more time, and then for the first time in a while, actually, we get a full oneer of them following all the way through Gorilla, backstage, having a conversation with Akira Tozawa, Otis, then getting shit talked to by, I think, was it Rey Mysterio? Or who was the other person he had talked? Oh, no, R-Truth. And then goes out, Adam Pearce, out into the parking lot. Who's leaning up against his car? AJ fucking Styles. In the snow, like a badass with his sleeves out, just like, he didn't got shit to say to him. And Gunther does the ultimate heel move to really, really stick the knife in your back to prove, oh, this dude is a heel of heels. He gets into the car, starts moving, stops in front of AJ, who's still mean mugging him, rolls the window down and goes, hey, AJ, you can't see me. Laughs and peels the fuck out of the back lot. I loved it. And guess what? Now I know who's retiring AJ Styles, too.
God, I hope not. But there is something that people aren't talking about when it comes to Saturday that I honestly think a whole lot more people should. And it involves how much hate Gunther is getting. I have seen videos from outside of the arena of this man getting followed all the way to his bus, getting booed out the wazoo all the way to his bus, bottles being thrown in this man's direction. That is how much hate Gunther is getting after that. For the people going, oh, this was a terrible decision, there's nothing that's going to happen to him. Really? Because literally, like, within a half an hour later of him leaving the damn building, something big happened. So clearly you are absolutely wrong on that. But the promo, or lack thereof, of what happened tonight, it was true. He went out there and went, hey, I tapped John Cena and I made him tap like a little bitch the entire time, like 3-4 separate times of him saying that. He was really wanting to dig into that and really dig into that hate that he is absolutely getting. And at this point, clearly the people that are saying that nothing's going to work and all of that, this says otherwise.
Yeah, Gunther's got some competition when it comes to being the biggest heel in the game now.
Yeah.
I mean, I should say Dominic Mysterio has some competition, because I think Gunther has Dom beat now when it comes to
Gunther just
having major heel.
Gunther cleared him by a country mile. You see, because Dom has that thing where he's a beloved heel. Gunther is a pure heel. And before we move on, I'd like to say, because those reports of him being followed to the car, he had to get security around to protect him because they were worried for his safety. Like, legitimately, they had to start having security follow him out to the rest through the parking lot. You know, Gunther has that. You know how we talk about Gunther's a throwback, right? He's like a throwback to classic wrestling, like 80s, 70s heels. Back in the day where people still believed 100% it was shoot wrestling. The veil hadn't been lifted. There was no kayfabe being destroyed. People believed these guys, these heels, were real bad guys. and they would try to freaking knife these freaking wrestlers, throw glass things at them, shards, heavy objects, attack them at the airports. Real things that used to happen in the 70s and the 80s. Gunther having to get followed out to his car with security because people are trying to attack him. Chef's kiss again. How on earth do you say Saturday was a mistake when you literally got him heat that no one has had in 30 plus fucking years? Genius.
Yeah, and not only is Gunther getting heat from the crowd and the audience, Gunther's also getting heat by the boys. You know, when he was walking backstage, he walked by even like Otis and Tozawa, which later on we saw Otis cut a promo on Gunther in one of the commercial interviews on Netflix, which I thought was pretty interesting because we haven't heard Otis cut a promo in a long time, or even be on TV for that fact. But now he's cutting promos on Gunther of all people. So I'm wondering, they're probably going to try to set up a match between Otis and Gunther at some point. But yeah, man, very interesting face-off that he had with AJ Styles there after John Cena's retirement. We all know AJ Styles is planning on retiring soon next year. So, I mean, with the reports that AJ Styles is going to retire, and then they're saying that they're maybe planning Gunther retiring Brock Lesnar. Do you guys really see Gunther retiring AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar? That would be crazy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because originally I thought, maybe Dragon Lee turns heel on AJ and they give Dragon Lee the rub to send AJ off into the sunset. Then I thought, well, if you're basically recycling Randy's legend killer gimmick and you're putting it on Gunther, who, by the way, has even more heat on him than Randy did back then because of this John Cena shit. I mean, come on. Like, Randy didn't retire anybody. He was just attacking Hall of Famers. You give Gunther the fucking gimmick to end people's actual careers, beloved talents' careers. Oh, come on. Goldberg, then John, add AJ to that, and they're already saying that they're throwing Brock Lesnar at him at SummerSlam in Minnesota next year in Brock's hometown. Come on. You got to do. I mean, at this point, I want to see it. I want to see how much heat you can get on Gunther. How dangerous can this get for him? I want to know, because if you ever turn Gunther babyface, you're going to have to move the heavens, the earths, the moons, and the stars. Fuck, he'll have to move the galaxy to get people to forgive him for what he did to John Cena, let alone if he does it to AJ too.
Yeah, if he retires AJ, I really hope not, but the cards are clearly stacked on that, where it's odds are with that dig that he did with AJ tonight, I have a feeling like it is going to be Gunther retiring him. And then Brock, he wouldn't really get much hate for because everybody fucking hates Brock Lesnar. But if he retires AJ Styles, like half a year between that and retiring Cena, holy crap, that in itself is going to cause so much more hate on him than he has now. So I say let's do it. If you're putting the Legend Killer gimmick on him, like Blood said, I say do it.
I can see why they're comparing it to the Legend Killer, but this is not the Legend Killer because, like we've said, Randy Orton was just attacking motherfuckers and just putting them out of action or out of commission or whatever you want to call it. Gunther is retiring fools, like officially retiring people. So there's a big difference there. One's a legend killer. The other one retires legends. Big difference. But there's another guy that's been said is going to retire really, really soon, Rey Mysterio. But I think you got to probably give that one to Dom or someone else. I don't think you could just have Gunther just retire everybody, you know? That would be crazy. But
Blood, you're probably going to like this comparison. There has been people that are comparing Gunther to fucking Thanos.
I mean, the new nickname that they've been trying to get over for him on commentary is the Terminator. That's a little corny in my opinion, but like, I mean, he's Austrian, so's Arnold. You know, he's taking people out left and right. So was Arnold. You know, so I mean, if Terminator 1 was Goldberg and retiring Cena is Judgment Day, which is considered the greatest Terminator movie, AJ Styles looks like you're going to be the trilogy, brother. But then that means Brock's going to suck because then that's going to be Terminator Salvation from 2009 that nobody likes to remember. So, but I digress. Let's get on to that first match.
Jey Uso is back in the tag team division, and a lot of people are still wondering why. The Usos face the New Day, and talk about taking it back, huh? Fucking felt like 2012 all over again or something like that. Two of the biggest tag team or best tag teams in WWE of recent time. A lot of history between these two teams. They know each other very, very well. So the match was going to be good, and it was. It was a lot better than I thought. I really enjoyed this tag team match, and the Usos won. So the Usos are starting off on the right foot in this tag team division once again in their first match back officially. What'd you guys think about the match?
I really enjoyed the hell out of it. For an opener, it was great. This is awesome chance. I'm not surprised it was great because I've seen these guys wrestle each other so many times. To this day, one of the greatest Hell in a Cell matches I've ever seen is the Usos versus the New Day of the team of Woods and Big E. But like with Kofi being forced to watch the carnage from the outside of the cage. You got to remember, the New Day were at one point the longest reigning tag team champions in history until that record was beaten by the Usos when they were still in OG Bloodline era around 2022, which was the last time I believe they had faced each other. And that was for the tag titles. And whomever won that match, or if the Usos retained, they would then become the longest reigning tag champions the next morning. So, which they did. So you have the top two longest reigning tag team champions or tag team championship teams in history facing off on an opener. As much as I don't like seeing Jey back in the tag division because I feel like there was so much more gas left in the tank in the singles division, it was kind of nice to see these guys run it back in a great match. A lot of crazy moments. Woods kicking out of the freaking, I think he kicked out of a 1D, or not the 1D, he kicked out of the Uso splash, which was crazy to me. And the couple of near falls, false finishes, breakups were really good. But they ended the match with a 1D. I believe Woods ate the pin. And it was, I enjoyed it. Really, really solid opener. Putting everybody back on notice and reminding them why the Usos were as fucking great as they were.
Yeah, and it really did feel like old school Usos and New Day. But there is something that I believe Wade Barrett said on commentary that I absolutely agree with. You could split up the Usos and the New Day at the same damn time. Mix them up, put Kofi with Jey or something like that, and it would still end up being one hell of a tag team because of the fact that these two teams have gone head to head with each other so many times that they just know each other that damn well. So I completely agree with what Wade Barrett said on that. When it comes to the match itself, it was great. I absolutely loved it. It felt like old school Usos and New Day. So when it comes to that, it just brought back really what made both of these teams so good in the first place.
Yeah, pretty crazy that we're still seeing the Usos versus the New Day in this year of damn near 2026. It's fucking insane. I believe after this, we saw the segment where I think it was Asuka and Kairi Sane attacked Rhea and Io Sky, if I'm not mistaken. I stepped away for a little bit during the segment, so I didn't really get to see what happened, but I did see that this set up a match between Rhea Ripley versus Asuka next week. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing of crazy consequence. We've already seen a lot of the tag team division, even in the women's, as interesting as it's been, they've all been running around back to back with a lot of the same mix and match one-on-one, matches here. It was simple. Io and Rhea came down to the ring. They were going to cut a promo. Rhea turns around, notices Asuka at the corner of the barrier. She gets misted, gets jumped by her. Kairi jumps in. They all start beating the shit out of Io and Rhea. And then they take Io out, throw her to the stairs. Rhea's on the ground in the ring. They're going to hit her with the insane elbow drop. And Io runs in and covers Rhea with her body and takes the elbow to her own back to protect Rhea. They then get, run out of the ring because the refs, yada, yada. Later in the evening, because it was a separate segment, she goes to Adam Pearce, Rhea that is, says, I want Asuka. He says, how's next week? She goes, perfect. So now we've got one-on-one action next week. Should be a fun match, but we've seen so many combos of this. I can't exactly say I'm excited for it. I can just say it's probably going to be interfered in by Kairi or someone's going to cheat. But, we'll get there when we get there. But this at least succeeded in setting up something for next week, I guess.
Yeah, Blood has basically said absolutely everything when it comes to this segment. There's not really anything to add to it.
All right, up next, we had the fellow hometown girl from here from Sacramento, California, the Women's Intercontinental Champion, Maxine Dupree. Okay, so I was like, all right, I want to see what this is going to look like, because for the past couple of weeks, they've been playing these video packages where Maxine Dupree has been training with Natalya, right? And they're really trying to, the WWE is really putting in a lot of work to give their Women's Intercontinental Champion a new presentation. They're trying to make her more, I guess, more of a badass, more of a, I guess, like a straight shooter in the ring, like she's been training a lot with the best, like someone like Natalya, she's going to give it her all now and, just give her a different attitude. And we saw a different side of Maxine Dupree that, it's a lot more interesting, if I'm being honest, because she's like hulking up a lot more in the match. She's like, more aggressive a little bit. But I'm not quite there yet where I'm like completely sold on her yet, man. But it seems I'm getting the feeling like it's going to the right direction, at least for me personally. Like I almost gave a shit about this match, but not really. This was Maxine Dupree's first successful title defense. But I'm curious to see where this is gonna go, man. I hope it works out, because like I said, she's from my hometown, so I'm rooting for Maxine Dupree. But I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. I've been a massive Maxine Dupree supporter from the beginning. You guys know this. I've been singing her praises and saying ad nauseum forever now that WWE clearly sees something in her. They see potential in her. And I've been saying that I see it too, and that there's something about her. There's something about her. It's her look. It's her presentation. She has a genuine connection with the fans. They give a shit about her. And we saw why, that bared fruit tonight, why WWE believes in her, because we got to see a serious side of Maxine. They have slightly repackaged her, dropping the Alpha Academy bullshit gimmick comedy crap, which was sweet, and that's what endeared her to the fans to begin with, and it worked. But now they've invested in seeing her rise through the ranks as a serious competitor, and now they're so into her, they want to see this through to the end. And we saw her come to the ring serious, slapping hands, but not like an overly joyous babyface, like a serious competitor saying hi to the people in attendance, holding that title up, propping it up, showing it off, getting in the ring and actually having a real competitive match with Ivy Nile. And Ivy, who is severely underrated. This woman is a shit brick house. I mean, Christ, I saw her with fucking bronchitis or the flu or something on Sheamus's Celtic Warrior workouts on his YouTube channel, and she had Sheamus on the ground hyperventilating while she's got the flu with like 103-degree fever, working out a full course goddamn sweat, and Sheamus can't hang. So I know Ivy is a fucking badass. This is a woman who doesn't even believe in cheat days, she said. She don't even eat ice cream or bread or milk. This woman is disciplined. And in the ring, she's a threat. And as far as people saying that, oh, well, Becky made Maxine look great, well, Ivy isn't as seasoned as Becky. So a lot of this wasn't going to be on if Ivy could make Maxine great. It was going to be predicated on if Maxine could make herself look good. And she succeeded here tonight. One thing I did love from Ivy was some stuff I hadn't seen before. She got a fucking dragon sleeper locked in on Maxine upside down in the Tree of Woe, which was fucking cool to see. Never seen that before. Love seeing Maxine hang upside down, pull the fucking straps, and fucking show off how shredded she was, and then scare the shit out of Ivy. Wouldn't let go, was relentless and aggressive, kept going back for that fucking ankle lock over and over. She must have been watching Saturday night's main event with Gunther, because every chance she got to go back to that ankle, she wouldn't give Ivy a chance to breathe. And she made Ivy eat those words that Ivy's been shit talking for weeks, and she made her tap the fuck out. And still your women's Intercontinental Champion, and that is a great first title defense. And I can't wait to see her get even better from here.
Oh, yeah, especially with everything that she's been doing with Natalya and all of that. I am honestly really, really happy with how this title defense went down, especially with her being upside down at one point, then her taking off the straps while still upside down, and then her coming up, and then that fucking, I believe it was like a frog splash or something. Can't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, this entire thing, I absolutely loved it. Maxine looked great. Although I have a feeling like at some point Natalya will be coming back, but it will not be as Natalya. I have heard people say that apparently at some point Natalya is coming back as Natty. So I honestly would not be opposed to that either, especially if she went up against Maxine for that Intercontinental title. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah, for this match, I know like the whole point was to put Maxine Dupree over, make her look good, put the attention, the spotlight on her. But I really appreciated Ivy Nile's work in this match, because she did play a big part in this match in making Maxine Dupree look really good. Yeah, I should have mentioned, I didn't even mention the fact that Ivy Nile was in this match, but yeah, she was pretty good here. She made Maxine Dupree look pretty good, I thought. CM Punk is back, y'all. He's been gone for a couple weeks off TV, selling the injuries from Saturday night's main event. Although some people were saying it was because of the unfortunate passing of Larry, the dog, that CM Punk was out of TV. Other reports were saying that CM Punk was filming a new TV show for Netflix. But whatever the reason is, the World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk is back. And he cut a mean fucking promo on Braun Breaker, who Braun Breaker has been running his fucking mouth for the past couple of weeks while CM Punk was gone. And CM Punk came back and lit a fucking fire under Braun Breaker's ass. And, he brought up the fact that, hey, that was War Games. I wasn't trying to break your neck, but hey, you signed up for war. And everything from, you want to talk about my wife? All right, you want to talk about my family? I'll talk about your family. Bring your uncle, bring your uncle's brother, bring your mother, bring your sister, bring them all. You're going to need all the help you can get. because, on the 5th, when I face you, that's it. You're done. 1, 2, 3. The best in the world is going to win. It was a hell of a fucking promo by CM Punk. Always good to have him back on TV, cutting promos like this and advertising these matches, man. I can't wait to see this one.
Yeah, this was my favorite thing on the show. And it was a really, really good show tonight. But this shit was awesome from fucking Punk. Y'all know, day one Punker here. He's my favorite of all time. So when I get to, see him, sometimes drop a little bit of that softer Punk we've seen since he's been back, the happier Punk, the less aggressive, full-blown, Punk, CM Punk. And, he just cut down to brass tacks, man. Holy shit, what 2 bars. If you ever mention my wife's name again, I'll rip your eyes out and piss all over that single-digit IQ brain. That was the bar. Then the second bar, which was a fucking mic drop, but he said one more thing after it to close it out. He said, you can get your stupid uncle and your dumb father, but it's not going to take Steiner math to understand that GTS is going to equal 1, 2, 3. And I was like, bro, I was like, you're supposed to be making sure this kid gets put over, right? I was like, you're shredding him down to atoms, Punk. Pull back. He's not ready. And he eviscerated Braun on like, and keep in mind, Braun wasn't even in the ring to bounce off of. Punk just went out there and ripped this kid a new asshole. And what I love about it is you got to understand when this match comes up on the 5th, I want you to get one thing clear here, guys. Remember this. Gunther, who retired Goldberg, who retired John Cena, who might be retiring Brock Lesnar in just about 8.5 months here, lost to CM Punk clean at SummerSlam. Punk beat that guy. So I'm not thinking the chances fare all too well for Braun Breaker come January 5th. Because if Punk can do what Cena couldn't, if Punk can do what Goldberg couldn't, what Jey Uso and LA Knight couldn't, what the fuck is Braun gonna do? That's what I'm thinking. So I'm excited, and this definitely sold me even more on wanting to see that match come January 5th for the World Heavyweight Championship. This promo was a fucking success.
It absolutely was. And there's one other bar that I absolutely loved as well, where he brought up the fact that Braun wants the early CM Punk, the early 2000s Punk, not this Punk now, but the one that's absolutely screwed people over time and time again, the pipe bomb Punk. That's the Punk that Braun Breaker wants. And he's like, hey, you can't even beat 2025 CM Punk on your own. You can't even lace the boots of that one. So if that's the Punk that Braun Breaker is getting, in which it absolutely seems like it is, it seems like Braun Breaker is absolutely screwed out of his mind if he thinks he's going to stand a chance against that version of CM Punk.
Yeah, man, CM Punk's promos are lovely, man. He said a lot of crazy shit in this promo. I can't do it justice, man. You just got to go back and hear the whole thing from top to bottom. But this shit was fire, if I'm being honest. Up next, we had a women's match. Stephanie Vaquer, the women's world champion, put up her title versus Raquel Rodriguez, the powerhouse of the Judgment Day. My girl Raquel, man, I love seeing her in this position, fighting for titles in the main title picture. But it is a Monday Night Raw. Stephanie Vaquer is hot. She's been on a crazy winning streak. As much as good as Raquel is, I did not see Raquel winning this match. This match was also good. Both of these women worked really well. But I was kind of worried. I was like, man, I understand that Raquel is not going to win, but I also don't want to see her lose. And lo and behold, we get an interference from Nikki Bella, and I shit you not, I don't think I've ever been happier in my life to see Nikki Bella interfere, attack Stephanie Vaquer. The match ends in a DQ. I wonder what's going to happen next. Now I want to see. I'm curious because Nikki Bella also went after Raquel. You know, Raquel's not going to be happy about that. But yeah, I'm just so glad Raquel did not technically pin and lose this match. So she still looks strong after all of this.
Yeah, I'm not really high on this match at all. I didn't care about it one fucking bit. And it wasn't because of Stephanie and it wasn't because of Raquel. It's because I called it. Last week, I literally said, I guarantee you, Nikki's going to interfere because Raquel got involved with her. I said, it's going to be payback. I said, it's going to be an interference, guarantee it. And because I knew that, and because I called that, I couldn't get invested in this match because I said, why should I be invested? I already know there's going to be no finish. So lo and behold, when Nikki Bella comes out there, I went, this is exactly why I didn't give a shit. Because why am I going to get invested in a match that I know has no actual outcome? So I was like, okay, well, this is just a match to get through so the show can go on. Let's get Nikki out of the way. Let's get this interference out of the way. She's going to bitch and moan, which she did backstage with Jackie Redmond. And she's just like, I'm a legend. I'm a legend. Raquel and Stephanie, you should be grateful. I paved the road that you're on, and none of these women in this division are grateful for the road that I paved them on, that they are walking down. I am a legend in this business, and yada, 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 yada. And I was just like, and? I was like, next. Fantastic. Who the fuck wears a fucking half-cut t-shirt over a romper tucked into baggy blue jeans with ripped knees? Get the fuck out of here with your 40-some-odd ass dressing like a 20-some-odd ass. I don't want to see you, okay? I can't get invested when I know you're lurking in the shadows. You pissed me off. You ruined what could have been a great match. And the thing is, the fans, it was a very heatless match for the first fucking entire half of this match. Fans didn't give a shit. Because fans, I'm pretty sure, also expected Nikki to pop in. So there was not a lot of fanfare for this match. They started getting invested at the 3/4 mark, but then right as they start getting invested, here comes Nikki. So it was like, okay, this was the low point on the show for me. It really was. In fact, I'll be honest, this is the only low point on the show for me. And I couldn't be bothered. I'm sorry.
Nikki Bella, what road? These girls are on a highway from literally everyone else in the fucking women's division from your time that paved it for them. You weren't even considered for that shit. But, of course, Nikki is fucking Nikki. She just had to get involved in this. Which means I have a feeling, dear Snug, Triple Threat is on its way.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, it seems like that's going to happen. And me, along with a few other people that I've had this conversation with, who seem to agree with me on it, says that, hey, Nikki might be taking it off of her. Unfortunately. We have this feeling like Nikki Bella is unfortunately going to have a title run, in which my response to them was simple. Hopefully, just like they did with Cena when it comes to the Intercontinental title, they take it off of her 2 fucking weeks later. Please, take that damn title off of her if you put it on her. Because no one wants to see a fucking title reign from her. But unfortunately, I have this feeling like that might be exactly what we're going to get sooner rather than later.
The only way I would be okay with them having Nikki take it off of Stephanie is if they turn right around and have AJ take it off of Nikki. That's the only way I would be okay with that. Only fucking way. I don't need to see another Nikki Bella Women's Championship run at all. I really don't. I saw plenty in her day. I do not need to see it again. Fans would absolutely eat up AJ taking it off of her at WrestleMania. But, you know, when it comes down to it, then I think you got to build up another top female heel in the division to take it off of AJ. So we're just going to have to see what these next 4.5 months play out like, personally. But it's because we're, 4 months and 3 days till Mania. So when it comes down to it, and the thing is, too, we got 2 major PLEs before Mania in Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber. God knows what they'll book with that women's title. You know what I'm saying? So it remains to be seen.
Yeah, I've also heard and read that too, Tommy, where they're saying that Nikki Bella might win the Women's World Championship at some point soon. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that actually happened. But yeah, one of those that also stood out to me, Blood, that you mentioned about the crowd being really dead and quiet for like even at some point during some of the other matches too, which is kind of concerning because tonight is a double taping. They're going to be recording SmackDown. They're recording SmackDown right now. So I'm like, fuck, the crowd in the arena is going to be there for like fucking 5 hours at least tonight.
They're probably going to, honestly, I'm going to chalk it up to maybe they're just cold as hell because they're in Hershey, Pennsylvania. If you've ever been to Pennsylvania in the winter, it's a fucking nightmare because you live in sunny California and I live in sunny Florida. But if you've ever been on this coast during winter, it's abysmal. I lived in Montana on your coast for 2 years, and it was negative 26 degrees 2005 Christmas, the first Christmas I ever spent up there. Hershey right now is like fucking negative 10 degrees. You saw the snow on Gunther's car. And you saw every star that came down to the ring tonight in casuals was in some kind of jacket or coat or this or that. So I can only imagine 5 hours in an arena or a stadium freezing your nuts off. That's going to suck the energy out of you. So I'm not going to fully blame the crowd. I'm going to say that it might just be really cold in there, and they're just like the energy's getting sapped. Because when you're sitting down for so long, your blood just starts to slow down. So unless you're doing all of this for 5 fucking hours, you know, they probably want to conserve some of their energy for the SmackDown taping.
Yeah, probably. So beware of the spoilers out there, fellas. Just a heads up. All right, y'all. Main event time. Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio. Last week we saw Logan Paul attacked Rey Mysterio from behind and also the Masked Man showing up. So the big question was, is the Masked Man going to show up tonight? And he did. Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio had a really good match before all the shenanigans. Again, I enjoy watching Logan Paul. I feel like he just gets better and better every time. And he's been wrestling on the show. He's been on the show a lot lately. He's part of the Vision now. He's a Paul Heyman guy, I think it's safe to say. And yeah, just like kind of like last week, Logan Paul tries to use the brass knuckles on Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio knocks him out of Logan Paul's hand. And then out of nowhere, the Masked Man appears. And the Masked Man helped Logan Paul get the win over Rey Mysterio. But CM Punk was out there because as soon as Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed were going to come out, CM Punk evened out the odds. He took out Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. And then after the match, when the Masked Man appears, CM Punk chased him out. The Masked Man goes up to the crowd, kind of like where Jey Uso does his entrance up there. And he takes off the mask, and it's Austin Theory. Thank God it was Austin Theory and no one else, because for every everyone that, was complaining that Triple H is a bad booker and blaming everything on Triple H and this and that, for everything that we don't like that they do as far as like what we want to see, this is one thing that they gave us that we all wanted, I feel like. Because if not Austin Theory, then people were saying, oh, it could be Montez Ford, or I even heard like Sami Zayn, or like it could have been anyone else. That, to me, if it was anyone else other than Austin Theory, it would have been such a waste and such a letdown. I was hoping it was Austin Theory. I mean, because Austin Theory would make the perfect Paul Heyman guy. Maybe that's the case now. Maybe he's part of the vision. Maybe Paul Heyman did know this whole time. But it's Austin Theory, man. I'm so glad he is back finally after months and months and months of being away.
Yeah, this main event, we haven't seen Logan versus Ray since I think 2023. And this was a really good match. And you know what I noticed between this match and that last match that they had? Logan is so much more comfortable in the ring. He's so much more confident in the ring. He moves better. He wrestles better because he's wrestling more consistently. He's getting his reps in. Ray isn't just carrying him through a match like he was the first time, like a super rehearsed match. This felt like, a lot of the stuff they were calling in the ring. Like, Logan's at that point where he's really getting it. And this was great. Logan looked great, came off great, worked with Ray great. Ray, at his age, fuck, if I could move half as well as he does with half the knee surgeries, I'd be thankful. And what was honestly an extremely fast-paced, well-organized main event, I loved it. I love the finish. I love Punk running out there with the steel chair and taking out Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker and running their asses all the way back. Like they were like, no, we're sorry. And then out of nowhere, Ray, in a moment of doing something that he would never do and potentially picking up the brass knuckles to use them against Logan, that one moment of him going against his own grain cost him the match, because here comes the masked man, stomp on the freaking corner, and bam, he's done. Frog splash, 1, 2, 3. We get the reveal of Austin Theory, someone we all hoped and all wanted, because they dropped the ball with him with the Grayson Waller thing, where that could have been a major angle they built up for almost a year, and then just out of nowhere. And it's funny that they're on the same brand now, so I guarantee we'll get some kind of segment between Grayson and Austin Theory. But when it comes down to it, I think I know what they're doing here. They're building up Braun to be the next guy, this massive fucking, heel that'll eventually turn into a face. But I think that what they're doing with Austin is they're building him up inside the same group, so when the time comes, he can be the one to take down Braun Breaker. They're going to turn him into a massive baby face by having him join the ranks of the Vision as a massive heel. And then eventually he's going to turn on Braun in a massive baby face twist and take down the Vision from the inside out, probably with help from Seth.
So the IWC is quite weird, because back when this man climbed up the cage at War Games and all of that, there were people comparing the ass to the masked man. Going, hey, look, that's totally Austin Theory's ass. Like, what in the world?
I know those cheeks anywhere.
I know that cake is legitimately what people were saying is, hey, he's got the cake of Austin Theory. That's what they were saying when they were saying, hey, look, it's Theory. That's how they got to that, besides the very fast speed of climbing up the cage.
I've seen him squat. I know what 250 pounds looks like in ass.
But Theory, no surprise there. Of course, what both of you neglected to bring up was after Theory went out, revealed himself and all of that, Breaker speared the crap out of CM Punk. It said something like, all I heard was, if you ever say something about my family again, and then I couldn't understand the rest of it.
So what he said was, okay, you were right. This is about business. But if you ever mention my family again, you'll never stand up to your feet again.
Yeah. So that's what he said. I did kind of like that dig to him, especially since the camera was so close that the mic could hear what he said on that. And we have not seen Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul since Logan took the United States title off of him. That is how long it's been. And at this point, this was a better match than that United States title match was, in my opinion. Because of the fact that Rey didn't have to carry Logan as much as he did the first time.
Yeah, I don't even remember that match. It was so long ago. But I'll take your guys' word for it. But yeah, man, Austin Theory's back. That's always good. Yeah, we'll see what happens on Friday Night SmackDown, man. We have a lot to look forward to. It's damn near Rumble season, y'all. That's super exciting. And then it's WrestleMania. Time is flying by really fast, but don't we have another Saturday Night's main event before the end of the year also?
Nope, this is the last one. The next one's been advertised for late January. They advertised it on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Is that the one? Is that the one where they're gonna have SmackDown and Saturday Night's main event in the same arena?
Yep, back-to-back nights. I think it's like January 24th and 25th or some shit like that. It's around there. But
cool.
Yeah, it'll be in January.
Right on. Well, that was Monday Night Raw review with the Snug Wrestling Crew. Let's get up out of here, y'all.
That's it for the show, guys. Thanks for tuning in with us. Thanks for kicking it with us, as always. And you can kick it with us every Monday and Friday night after Raw and SmackDown go off the air, respectively, for live post-show reviews. And for bonus content, you can go ahead and check out our socials during all the actual events while they're taking place for live reaction content to every single segment. Then head on over to Thursday nights with myself, Mr. Blood, and the head of Snug Wrestling, Edgar, that handsome Mexican over there, on TikTok Live at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific every Thursday night, where we break down random or current wrestling topics, and then we answer your fan questions live. Then, by the way, to support the podcast, head on over to our merch site, where the links are in all of our social media descriptions and bios, as well as on Apple and Spotify, where you can pick up your Snug Wrestling merch for over 65 unique wrestling designs across all items that you could even really imagine. We're talking shorts, cell phone cases, mugs, that nice tapestry directly behind Edgar's head right now, the hoodie he's wearing, the hat that Tommy's wearing, all that merch and more. And currently there's a store-wide sale for 35% off. So support Snug Wrestling by picking up your gear today. And by the way, you can also tune in for after this episode goes live, where I, Mr. Blood, do a blood drop episode where I break down just why Gunther winning made sense based off of the reaction he got tonight on Monday Night Raw. Well, until next time, guys, stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. And that was one time for the one time. I said that was four letters, one word.
Oh,
Yeet.